So let's see if this works. I just wanted to make sure that I have the right settings. And yeah, this should work. Let's see what renders. Cherry tree in bloom on grassy hill at night under a starry sky with a full moon. Tiger sleeping under cherry tree on pile of treasure. Let's see what this shows us. I find myself wanting to get more artistic lately, and it's interesting because I also really kind of want to get back into game dev, but one of the things that stopped me is the art side of it. I don't feel qualified to do the art. And a part of my brain goes, "Oh, well, there's AI for that now," which is hilarious to me because I was at one type in a relationship with a technical artist, and she slaved over her art to get things right. Like I saw the wear and tear it put on her to do things, and the thought of being able to just do that in a couple clicks now probably makes her very angry. And so this film, this image that I'm making, uh, probably would have taken her many hours to do, and it's going to take me a few minutes. And I think that is one of the things that we just have to accept now. It's not that the value of art is less; it's that before what was valuable was the end product. And I think for the first time in human history, artists are being forced to consider that their final output is what is valuable, not the effort that went into it. As an engineer, I'm fully aware of this. I know that if I slave over code for hours, days, weeks, months, years, whatever, and it doesn't work, then it's not valuable. But one of the things that I've noticed about the art community is that they will put arbitrary value on things that no one else outside of the art community understands enough to consider valuable as well. And so what this does is it provides kind of a reckoning in that under the oh, that's nice actually. That isn't bad. I mean, it's clearly AI. I mean, I can see that it was AI, but honestly, like the tree would be its own asset in like Maya or something. The moon would be a banner. The sky and would be like a matte background would be like a matte painting. Some rendering of that, and then of course the asset for the tiger would be on the grass, right? Like that's how it would be split up. But I gave the prompt distinct things, and it forgot about the pile of treasure. I mean, it's still a nice image, but it forgot about the pile of treasure. And so I think one of the things that we really have to understand as a society is that the value of art has historically always been the emotion that a piece gives the viewer. And historically, there has always been a disconnect between the value of the output of an artistic piece and what it actually physically is versus the valuation given to it because of arbitrary things like a stated historical significance or a emotion that people often feel. And so I kind of feel like AI, one of the reasons why AI is hated by the artistic community so much isn't just that we're having our stuff used illegally to train it. Because let's face it, even I've had my code stolen and used to train LLM models. I've had my writing stolen just like anybody else has. And if you're an artist and you've had your work used to train a stable diffusion model, you know how I feel about that. But what it ultimately comes down to is as a person, as a human in our capitalist society, we are judged by our output. And the artistics, the art of old, the artistic influence of Salvador Dali, even something as modern as that, is still old enough that it's not modern contemporary anymore. And so one of the things that you have to understand about the art and the perception of what the value of art is in modern times to most people. Yes, there are rich people that they have the time to idle away an entire day and look at a painting. But most people don't have that time. Most people don't have that energy. Most people don't have that security or safety because they don't have that money. And so the actual output of an artist these days is judged by what can you check in? What can you create as an OBJ? What can you create as a PNG or a JPEG or TIFF file or whatever to create that art asset so they can be used in a game or on a website or something. And so the reason that artists hate this is because I can do these paintings, as bad as they might be to an artist that could definitely make sure the lighting is better and everything else, right? But the fact is, this is a good V1. This is good enough to ship as we're going to use this as a filler image, and then we're going to tweak it later based on requirements. And that changes everything that I can do as a game developer because now I don't have to worry about, oh, well, I can't, I want to do a cherry tree, but I don't want to, I need a cherry tree texture. Let's see, how about this? A block with cherry tree bark texture, right? And then I can go in and I can be like, okay, fine. I am going to just do just quick, let that render, right? And what's going to happen is I'm either going to get something that I can use while I'm actually off, doing research to figure out what the actual bark of a cherry tree actually looks like as an artist, so I can then duplicate it in a block that I can add to a voxel game, or I can just wait for this to render, clip out what I need at the resolution I need it, and be done. And boom, I've created the texture I need for a voxel game. And it's not even something that is completely AI generated at that point because this block is at a resolution that clearly can't be imported as part of an atlas for a asset map. And so as part of that, I actively don't have to say, look, this is AI generated. I can say, look, the first version was AI generated. We artists, the artist, tweaked it after the fact. I've got a perfect example here, and at that point, I can just, oh look, I can add, I can actually, and if the game is like Unreal 5 and I'm using high def graphics, I can have procedurally generated, bits of bark that stick out and do all those other fun things. But I've got an example right here. And if it's just a voxel game with a low resolution, then I can take this, shrink it down, get the basics, and be done. I don't have to wait on the art department anymore. And I think that really makes a lot of artists angry because they are effectively being used to train their replacements. All their hard work, all of their effort, all of those achy hands and broken pencils and art supplies that were paid for have resulted in this. And that sucks for them. Because if I want a cherry tree bark, now I don't know if this is cherry tree or not, but it looks like a tree to me. And most people won't know the difference. So let's just go look up cherry tree bark. This looks like a wild cherry tree, honestly, with its bark mostly removed. Wow, it actually looks real. I mean, there are different types of cherry trees, and the bark, like these part right here, without the removed bark, looks accurate. Like it looks like this was attacked somehow, and you're getting like the cherry wood underneath. But that makes sense. Like cherry tree bark texture. Like it's taking multiple things. I could probably use a different prompt and get uh, a better, non-attacked version of it. But if this is all I need, and I just need this small little rectangle for the bark, then I'm done. And if I need a bit of actual cherry wood from one of these, just a quick square, I'm done. Think about that.